Hello my friends, and welcome back to another video. My name is Amanda and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are getting our bake on and we are making some homemade vegan focaccia, and I really want to try and decorate it to make it look cute, and I think this would be a really great thing to serve with soup or like a charcuterie type situation, and I just really wanted to give it a try, so I wanted to bring you along and see how it turns out. And yeah, so let's get baking. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you for tuning into this video and clicking on this. I really appreciate that you're here. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share with your friends and subscribe if you are new. So I appreciate you guys being here, and let's get into baking. So the first thing we are going to do is make our yeast mixture, and if you don't have a kitchen scale, I highly recommend picking one up if you're going to be baking, especially bread. It just allows for higher accuracy. So we're going to measure 440 grams or 1 3/4 cups of lukewarm water, and into that water we're going to add our yeast, 2 teaspoons or 7 grams. Then we're also going to be adding in our sugar, 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of just regular sugar, and give that a mix and let it do its thing while we measure the rest of our ingredients. First, in our giant bowl, we're going to measure 600 cups of flour. Wait, 4 cups or 600 grams, not 600 cups, and 3 teaspoons or 12 grams of salt. And I was using the scale to measure the grams, so sorry for the confusion. Spot on, and look how much flour I had left. This is the only flour I had in the house. I was so excited that I had enough. I probably should have checked before I started baking, but it all worked out in the end. So we have our flour and our salt that we're adding into our giant mixing bowl here. We're going to give that a stir to combine everything, and then we're going to add all of the ingredients together into this bowl. So definitely make sure you're using a large enough bowl. So you can see the yeast has activated. There's that nice foamy layer on top. Wet ingredients go into the dry, clearing our scale, and then we're going to add in about 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of extra virgin olive oil into this mixture. Now that everything is combined in one bowl, we can incorporate everything together. And this recipe didn't say to knead with your hands, so I was like, well, all right, it just says stir to combine for 2 minutes and you'll have a wet sticky dough. So that's what I did. I used my wooden spoon and I just stirred it together, and you can see after like a few minutes, like it really does start to come together. So I did set a timer and I did this for 2 minutes, and then it turned into dough after that. So I was like, all right, I guess this is how it's supposed to be. So I'm new to this. Yeah. So after 2 minutes, I got a damp kitchen towel and put that over the top. And then I put this in my oven that was just slightly warm. I left the light on and let it heat up to 100 degrees and turned it off. So the oven is not on for this proofing process. And this is going to sit and proof for about 2 hours. And once those 2 hours has elapsed, you can see it has grown considerably, and now is time for the next kneading. And this recipe is said to do kind of like a stretch and fold method for this. So it said to use a spatula and do about 40 stretch and folds for about a minute or so, and this is going to kind of really activate the gluten. And this is what I did. I still feel like I was questioning the hydration of this dough, but I've never made focaccia before, so I have no idea. But stick with me. This is an experiment for both of us. So after those stretch and folds, we're going to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil onto our baking pan or dish, and then turn out the dough. And then the recipe called for using the back of 2 wet spoons to kind of press it out and stretch it out to fit the pan. And because it's so springy, it's likely not going to fill the entire pan. And when it proofs the second time, it definitely will expand. So that's totally okay. So same process, stretched it out. And then for the proofing, we're not going to cover it this time. And it's going to go uncovered back into that slightly warm oven, this time only for about 45 minutes. And as you can see, it definitely grew, and I'm like, okay, so this looks good. And then this is the part that kind of I was a little confused about. Not the preheating the oven. So the oven is preheated to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we're mixing together some oil, water, and salt. And then we're going to prick the top of the bread to kind of create dimples, I think would be an appropriate word for like what this is. And if you're oil free, you can eliminate the oil. You can use parchment paper on the baking pan and just skip it for this step. I'm pretty sure that it would still be fine. And then we are just going to dip the fingertips into this water mixture and poke some holes in the top. And then this is the part that I thought was kind of weird. The recipe said to pour the remaining water and oil mixture over the focaccia, so it kind of fills in those dimples. And I don't know, I just felt weird pouring water over bread, but like I said, this is the first time I've made this recipe and I was just gonna go with it. So I did. So we have that sitting to the side while the oven finishes preheating. And then I decided that I wanted to make this focaccia pretty. So I wanted to try and create some like flowers on the top to make a fun design, just to not only add some extra flavor, but to make it look like flowers because I thought it would be pretty. So I cut up some green onions, which I had, and then some yellow pepper, and I was going for like a daisy, like sunflower vibe here, and I thought it looked really cute, and I wanted to add some more color, so I just tossed on some random sun-dried tomatoes, and then gave this a generous sprinkling of salt and a little bit of cracked pepper, just to kind of give it a nice crispy, crunchy, salty texture. And then we are ready to bake. So it's decorated, it's salted, it's gonna go into the oven for about 20 minutes or so until it's golden and crispy. And then you wanna let it cool down for a few minutes before you remove it from the pan and cut into it. But as you can see, it didn't really like poof up. Like I thought it would be thicker, and I'm not entirely sure why it stayed so short. Maybe it was the pan. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But it looked pretty good for my first try. It smelled really good, so I was happy. All right, my friends. So I think it's safe to say that the bread did not quite turn out as pretty as I would have hoped, but I'd like to do a taste test to see if it at least tastes good. Okay. It's very crispy. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. So I think this was definitely a good first try for me. I'm definitely going to continue to try this recipe and see if I can get better results. If you have made this recipe and it has turned out better for you, please let me know in the comment section below kind of what you did differently or anything, because I am just kind of getting into baking breads and this is like a learning curve for me. So I just wanted to take you along and I wanted to show you the result anyway, because cooking and baking doesn't have to turn out perfect, and the whole point of being a home cook is to explore new options and try new things. So even though this didn't turn out absolutely stunning as I would have hoped, it's still delicious and it's good enough to eat. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something along the way. Let me know if you tried this recipe down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.